Hello, trigonometry students. If you've finished taking your final exam the first time, you may want to see if you're pleased with that score and that it has helped you to achieve the goal that you had for the class letter grade wise. So I've devised this Microsoft Excel based Gradebook app, which is basically just using spreadsheet functionality of Excel. If you navigate to your Canvas Gradebook and scroll all the way to the right if you're viewing it on a laptop or a desktop, or all the way to the bottom on your cell phone, you'll see the averages for all of the different categories that are weighted by the weighted average system defined in the syllabus. Also in the syllabus, the letter grade assignment is based on a rubric where 60 or below is an F, 60 to 70 is a D, 70 to 80 is a C, 80 to 90 is a B, and 90 to 100 is an A. And I round up, so 89.5 would round up to a 90 for an A. Again, go to the Canvas gradebook and look at the very end and hover to the end where the average for your pre-homework assignment is, and you can enter that here in this cell. Let's say that you had a 98.7% on your pre-homework. Your post-homework, you only had an 89.3%. And on the quizzes, let's say you had a 84.6%, and your test average, you had a 77.4%. And your participation was, let's say, a 100. That means that you would go into the final exam with an 87.2, which is a high B, and you're probably salivating wanting an A. I get it. So if you drag all these down, you select all that row of values and you hold your mouse and drag down, it will auto-populate all the values in that cell, in the cells below it. Let's go back and actually change the pre-homework assignment to only a 95.6. So if I drag that down, you'll notice that the score going into the final exam would only be an 86.8. And if you got a 0 on the final, which is being used since there's nothing in the yellow cell, you would get a 69.5, which should just barely be enough to pass the class, which would be quite a shame if you had a high B and you only barely passed the class. Notice that all it would have taken is for your My Math Lab, your post My Math Lab homework to only been 88.3, not 89.3, so that if you went in with an 86.6, the 0 on the final would be a 69.3, which would be a D. That's not good. To go in with a high B and get a D in the class, obviously you want to do better. So let's say that on your first time you took the final exam, you scored let's say only a 23%. That means that you would have enough to pass. You would get a C, but again, a shame to have had a B, even a high B, and to get a C out of the course. This would be impetus for you to study up and retake the exam a second time and take the opportunity that is pretty rare to be able to take a final exam a second time to improve your score. Let's say that you got a 53 on the final exam. That actually would be just enough, maybe even a 52 or even a 51. A 51 would give you a 79.5, which rounds up to a B. But you want an A. I get it. So what would it take if I added, because the final is 20% of the grade, there are certain increments that I can go up that will achieve an 89.5. If I add 40 points to that, to a 91, you'll notice that's an 87.5, not quite enough to pull it up to a grade. So how about a 96? A 96 would be an 88.5. That's not enough. How about a 100? 100 is an 89.3, and that would pull your score up to your 100 on the final score. Pulling you up to 89.3 would mean this would really be left up to me, and I do reserve the right to raise a grade based on performance on a final exam, especially if students have put in effort by attempting and doing well on the extra credit assignments. So on a case-by-case scenario, I might decide if I would raise that score to an A based on the final exam and performance throughout the course. So I hope you enjoyed this little video showing you how to use this app, and I hope you use it to determine if you're going to take the exam a second time or not. Okay, have a good weekend. Good luck on the final as well.